rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Thank you for coming to our selectmen's meeting. There's only, I guess, one more before the town meeting. Roll call. Joe Hotchkiss here.
And Joe Bailey here.
I will note that John Mullen is on vacation in Florida. We knew about this way back when he first agreed to fill in, that he already planned this vacation. So, unfortunately for us, he's not running again. And equally unfortunate, he will not be at the March 16th meeting. So, we hope we have all the answers that he would have given. All right? All right, what do we have for?
Signature action.
I would respectfully not open the public bond hearing. Okay?
Sorry. It's been a busy one.
We'll talk about why we don't need a bond hearing.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written for February 11th, 2019.
Okay, I've read them already. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right. Now, warrants, we have to sign.
Yep, you have to sign the warrant for posting, because it has to be posted today. I have that, I have the budget, and I have the polling hours. So if you want to discuss the polling hours to make sure this is correct,
Okay.
this is what I got from the town clerk.
Can we read it?
Please.
Town of Middleton, town election, notice to voters. The town election will be held in the voting place, the Old Town Hall, 200 Kings Highway, Middleton, beginning at 7 a.m., closing not earlier than 7 p.m.
Okay. I believe it is easier to have the same polling hours for each election, instead of trying to change it, shorter hours for a shorter election. I think it's simpler, make them all the same so people aren't confused. Whether it's presidential or just for the selectmen voting and so forth, it's always the same. 7 in the morning till 7 at night, all right? And that's on March 12th, I believe. And then the 16th, which is the Saturday, I think it starts at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay, all right? All right. In terms of, we've signed the warrants. Later on, I want to talk about the different warrant articles, okay? Okay, old business. I talked about John. Trash collection. It's an
Here.
interesting topic.
Here's Peter's email.
Peter LaChapelle is the spokesman, if you will, the sales representative for Waste Management. Oh, he's also one of the counselors for the city of Rochester. Hi Laura, would it be possible to set up a meeting with the board sometime next month to discuss some routing changes Waste Management would like to implement? Let me first begin by saying we have a contract with them that states when they're gonna pick. Okay. It seems that Waste Management has picked up some more customers, probably more towns. They would like to, if we agree, change our pickup desk. Okay? I guess Tuesday is a very popular day. There's been at least some discussion on their part of perhaps Friday. Well, you'd think one day is the same as the next, but in that we have a lot of people that come for the weekend, they're not back until the following weekend. If they put their trash out on, let's say, Sunday night before they leave, it gets picked up on Tuesday. If we go with Friday, it's put out on Sunday night and doesn't get picked up until Friday. So,
If it gets picked up.
right. Something to think about. I don't mind talking to him, but I would like to see what, if anything, we can get out of this. Okay? If we even agree to it. is there something that Waste Management can offer to us? Okay? I don't know, we have them pick up bulk trash twice a year, maybe we can do something about that, or maybe we can do something with the summertime. Does Waste Management do the tires, electronics and all that stuff? No? No, okay. So, but right now, we cannot bring anything down there. I guess we can do recycling down there, but no?
Nothing.
Oh,
We got nothing now.
so,
Maybe we'll have something in the future, we don't know yet.
something to talk about with them, all right? Any thoughts on, anybody care if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like Tuesdays.
Yeah, I would be curious as to why they wanna push us to Friday, and who's gonna take the Tuesday slot. Just curious as to how we get bumped
Yeah.
to.
They can't bump us until the contract's up.
Well, no, but I'm just saying what, you know, cause it's like, oh, is your
My
new
idea is
customer
I
more
wouldn't,
important than your
if we
current
done it till,
customer?
on Thursday, okay, I don't care, Thursday. I don't wanna go Friday because I think a truck breaks down, whatever, that's a long time to wait till they show back up again, especially
What
on
about
weekend.
Monday?
So,
What about Monday? That
They
takes
pick up
care
in
of the weekend
Rochester.
people.
Is that
Yeah.
the day I'm,
That's Rochester Day.
well, you're not gonna get Monday then.
we'll figure it out.
I've yet to talk with Peter LaChapelle, but maybe it has something to do with equipment. For example, Rochester uses different trucks to pick up their trash than
Oh.
we do. So I don't know how that affects availability of their equipment on certain days.
What they'll do is they'll give everybody in town one of those great big green dumpsters.
There you go.
Have they already started picking up customers on Tuesday? Is that the reason we're having issues in town? That's the
Oh,
question I would
yeah.
like to know.
Not to my knowledge, but it could be. Maybe they're already trying to do too many people on Tuesday. Maybe that's why. This notice was dated February 25th. I heard about this 2-3 weeks ago. All right. Stay tuned, all right? Set up a meeting. Yeah, meeting's gonna be on a Monday night with the selectmen, and you folks can sit here and have your input, all right? I'm not gonna do it behind your back, we'll hear about it, okay? Whatever input you wish to have, let us know, all right? Since you're paying the bill, and it's your trash, okay? All right. New highway garage. It has been a day of many developments. DRA's Department of Revenue Administration, housed out of Concord. They preview all warrant articles for every town in the state of New Hampshire before it's actually voted on. Okay. Laura, I think you said you submitted ours February 11th?
11th, yeah.
They called today. There's a problem with the $1.7 million warrant article. DRA had the audacity to say that we were supposed to indicate the amount of payment for the first year's payment for the bond. I'm thinking, well, who in the world does that? I went back and checked the town records. We do that. When we have put up a bond issue or lease something for 5 years, included in there is the amount of the first year's payment. Anybody here know the first year's payment? Pretty hard to know it since we have not gotten the contract. We have not gotten enough bids to even pick an amount, okay? I think we ought not to put that on the warrant articles at all. Okay? I'm not prepared to lie and say, oh, the first payment will be X number of dollars. Okay? Furthermore, we had a meeting here about this issue, I don't know, a week or two ago, and several important questions were raised. And I don't think we as selectmen gave the answers. I don't think everybody has all the answers. So I think we're going to, I think, based on talking to all the selectmen, we're going to take it off the ballot for this year, have more facts and so forth ready to go for next year, all right? So, I've talked with chairwoman of the budget committee, I've talked with Rick Washburn, since it affects his future, which building. I've talked with Chief Lawrence, it affects his future. so that everybody understands what's going on, all right? DRA is right, they do need to have that. We can't just make up a number. I also called John Mullins, he knows about it as well. All right, comments? All right. So, by the way, there's still the fund balance, and we're gonna leave the article in requesting that people would be willing to put that fund balance towards the highway garage building capital reserve fund, so that we'll have it for next year, the future, yes.
Is there some possibility that the town would consider getting this all together through the summer? Have a special meeting, special,
It's certainly a possibility. Please remember that special town meetings require more money. You have to pay people to run the town meeting, run the elections and so forth. Okay, so certainly a possibility. All right. John?
I know you don't have any numbers, but what's the inflation factor?
Oh, John Mullen mentioned it. It's
He had a
a
rough
couple
figure.
100,000, is that something?
He said basically each year goes by, depending on the size of the project, it can go from anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000 each year, up in value,
Oh.
to do the project, so.
That's 6 or 7%.
All right, yeah. Well, in your line of work, 6 or 7% per year?
Mm-hmm,
Pretty average?
mm-hmm. Oh, no, closer to 10, really.
Yeah, so,
I guess my question is, I didn't see any pictures of what it was gonna be.
right,
Some ideas, but how do you put it out to bid without a spec book and prints and,
I
as a
agree.
contractor,
But see-
I wouldn't put a number
Yeah.
on that.
See, but the whole thing is, it's not that we wanna go out and do it right now. The whole idea is, if the money's available, would the town give us the authorization when we get the numbers together not to exceed that number, by come in less? But all that stuff has to go into it. I mean, like I said at the meeting, this hadn't been put out to bid, we have nothing to put out to bid because we haven't done all this.
Exactly.
It's just, we're trying to get things prepped for the future, so we can get our feet going here to get some stuff done. I don't wanna spend $100,000 on prints, if we're not gonna do a project for 10 years, what's the
Right.
sense of doing it,
Exactly.
you know? So,
Mary?
This will also give us time to incorporate the fire department and whatever
Yes,
the
it will.
fire department needs. And I
Yep,
think this is kind
good.
of like a little grace period that
Correct.
perhaps the town needed to incorporate both departments, the highway department along with the fire department.
Several questions were raised when we had that meeting here 2-3 weeks ago, particularly some about the fire department. And we did not have the answers, and we all deserve to have the answers.
Right.
A picture of it, all right. It's a steel building with a shed roof, but how about a floor plan?
Right.
Okay? How about a picture of how it fits in with the 5-acre lot down here, what it's gonna look like, right? So,
yeah, where's the salt shed gonna be, where's the sand pile gonna be, where's all the other stuff gonna be?
Oh, yeah.
And
A regular
it is important
engineered
stuff.
Right.
layout, but that costs money. Put an
Yeah.
engineer involved.
yeah. Is
So
that right?
basically, if the town votes to put some of the money from the fund balance into the highway budget, that will give us the opportunity now to take some of that money and maybe proceed further with it.
For engineering.
Right, so, because it's all part of the job, so.
I happened to be over there getting some sand for myself, and I can tell you that, at least right now, the salt shed is still standing. That's good. Okay.
Now, there's a question.
Yeah, there is.
Could some of it be done piecemeal?
Yes.
Move the salt shed
Mhm.
where it's gonna go permanently.
It's already marked out on the plot plan for down there.
So it
where
could
it's
be
gonna
done in
go.
phases.
Yes.
Right.
I guess is my question.
Yeah.
As far as the fire department, and we talked about what they need to move into the
Right.
old building. Do they have to move right away? Or could you start utilizing the other building, the ambulance for a rescue truck?
Well,
You know, there's this piecemeal.
Scott, I think you were there. We just had a meeting with the fire marshal.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything you would like to add to this?
As long as we're still here.
Okay, Dorothy, we're heading back.
Before the lights go out, quick.
We like you said, we had the state fire marshal come out the other day, and he kind of just did a walkthrough. The big question that we were kind
Walkthrough of,
the highway barn.
right, thank you.
And the big question that we had for him that day was a fire suppression system, a sprinkler system. What he told us at the time was, as long as we don't add sleeping quarters or we don't add, what was it, more than
50%.
If we don't
We don't
add
expand
on
it.
more than 50% of the building size now,
Yeah.
we don't have to add a fire suppression system. We didn't really get into all the other stuff like where our gear has to be and everything like that. He told me we had to go through the NFPA health codes for that. So we didn't really get into that. It was more or less if we had to put a fire sprinkler system in, and he gave us the standards on that.
But I guess what I'm thinking is if the highway department got moved, you move piecemeal.
Right.
You at least have the whole complex to work with. Over there.
Correct.
I don't know if it's necessary right now, but as we get closer to actually taking a vote, I hope the fire station is open for people to try to walk around those trucks.
Absolutely.
It is,
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
fire marshal
Yes.
was here,
Definitely.
you guys were up near the front doors. I walked around back.
There's no room back there. I went with Bill
Yeah, it's
and
about
there's no room
impossible,
back
but
there.
I guess if you were a driver and you're in a hurry, you'd squeeze in, but very tough if you put all your bunker gear on there, breakout gear.
Yeah, it is.
Try to walk around the ambulance, the trucks, okay? It is very tight in there. Okay? Yes, it would help if I lose weight, but that's separate. Okay, yes.
Ken Gary did allude to the first payment on the bond regarding the school. So I'm wondering, with all the unanswered questions of that night, was anything done like the next day and up to now to get answers? Because I know I asked last week for the whole packet in the entirety, which should have been provided to the public, and I still didn't get it.
Yeah. Is
I just
anything
feel like
been
there's a lot
done?
of waiting.
No. I certainly got the mood of the public at that meeting that we were not ready. And I'm not gonna try to rush through and get quotes in such a short time. Without quotes, we're not going very far with this at all. John Mullen checked a couple of places for possible interest rates, but again, nothing firm, so. I think we're
It's gonna be hard to get any real actual figures without having the building engineer, the specs done. And then once you do that, then we have to put out the bid so we know what kind of money we're looking to get.
Right.
So
That
that's,
was done with the
so,
school. You're gonna
huh?
have to spend money to show people what.
Exactly.
Because they're not gonna say yes to a figure in the sky.
Right.
No.
Well, and I think it's not gonna be, well, the DRA will not, they'll dismiss the warrant article, they will not let it go, so.
See, we could have still done we still could have done the warrant, but we could have had to change the verbiage and take that
Right.
stuff out. But there's too many questions, just
Not ready.
let it go.
Yep.
Let it go, there's another year.
And thank you for admitting that you're not ready. I think the community should thank you guys for that, not just getting it done to get it done.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're about either, so.
Right,
And when we do it, we'll get the best possible deal going,
thank you.
so.
I believe I could have done an end run around DRA and just give them a number, and they'd put it in there, but that would not be truthful.
Well, not
I'm not
with
doing that.
No, that's not good.
Speaking of all that though, whoop, Laura, question?
Nope.
Okay. Couple more things happening, more of just an update. Got a call today from Attorney Duval of Blue Sky Cell Tower Company. Okay. One of the companies working with Blue Sky said, do you see the difference between this paper and this paper? This is the 2014 warrant articles that the town voted on. It alludes to five-year periods. Original 5 and 4, renewable 5-year periods, 25 years. Now you go look at the lease that's been signed by this company. They made it up. One of their paragraphs talks about 5 10-year terms. 2 paragraphs later, it talks about 5 5-year plans. So, the lawyer wanted to know if we could change the warrant article from 2014 in time for March 16th of this year, and I said, no, can't. The lawyer very politely said, we will amend the contract so it agrees with what people voted on. That will enable us to get started. When I say get started, they've already bought the steel for the tower. Okay, so they're ready to go. They are not waiting another year for anything. They want to get going, and we'll get this amended. It boils down to, do we get guaranteed income for 25 years or for 60 years? Okay. Clearly, the intention of the town is to have a tower, so we'll be presenting this a year from now, and by then we'll all be happy. The wording in the warrant article says for a period of more than 5 years. Well, okay, 60 years is more than 5 years, but the thing that's pretty excessive, right? It might be legal, but it's, I think you're missing the point if you say just more than 5 years. That might be misleading. All right? Oh, there's been talk from time to time about another tower for T-Mobile at Tanglewood. Spoke with a person today about that. He said, well, have the selectmen signed the lease for that one? I'm looking back and realize that before we put a tower down here, or even before we signed the lease, we got a warrant article that was approved by the townspeople. We're nowhere near doing that at Tanglewood, okay? So, has the lease been signed? No, we haven't even had any public hearings. You know, I talked to the person from T-Mobile and said, when he asked, can we put it on for March 16th? I said, absolutely not. We need to have public hearings, we need to talk about this and see where it goes from there. He agreed and says, all right, we'll shoot for next town meeting in 2020. I said, if we start having public hearings, will someone from T-Mobile come up and be with us? Yes, so we're good, all right? He was very polite, didn't seem upset. Yes.
We've been talking to Roger Main about the T-Mobile site
Right.
down there, and
Yeah.
I think he mentioned that they had already thrown out a number. I don't know if they have it to you or not.
Yeah, I think he did say
There is a
something.
little research that I did online about how much a property owner can expect
Right.
from revenue for that.
Right,
And they're saying something like $3,000 per month per unit.
mhm,
And it works out to something like 45,000. I'm assuming that 45,000 is if you have more than 2 or 3 or maybe up to 4
Right.
providers on that tower.
right.
So there's a potential for quite a lot of money from that.
I think we would need to have a fair amount of discussion before we sign anything on that one. Okay. The rates, the location, okay. Actually, in their lease, they said see Exhibit A for the location, there's nothing there. I talked with Roger, and apparently T-Mobile would like a site very close to the entrance to Tanglewood versus the top right-hand corner. And I guess everybody's had a chance to see, for Blue Sky, different pictures of what's visible and what's not visible. Okay? Everybody seen those? No? Oh. I think I still have it, or else you have it. No. I have it. That's right, it's a zoning board meeting. Afterwards, I'll show you, there's about 20 pictures of what it would look like from different spots, Ridge Road, Kings Highway here, 153, looking from the school. You get an idea of what you see or not see. A lot of places you won't even see it,
Right.
okay? Nicely done, yes.
So, but and maybe I misunderstood from a prior meeting, I thought Tanglewood was out altogether. It's not?
It would require town approval and it's not automatically in there at all.
No, I
This
just
is-
knew that.
see,
I mean,
T-Mobile has gone through town,
Mhm.
and to them, that is the best possible location for them.
Right.
But you remember, T-Mobile is a standalone tower,
Right.
just them by themselves. If that was the case, they could jump on this one here. They don't want that. They want their own tower by themselves. That's a done deal. And they said the best possible place would be down there at Tanglewood. But Tanglewood is town-owned property for the most part.
Right.
So, that's right around the lake, there's gonna be a lot of controversy, but then
Yeah,
that's so.
and I wasn't sure, I thought,
I thought
last
we had
time we
heard the
talked,
3 mile mark.
but I thought, yeah, and I thought for some reason at a meeting, several meetings ago, probably now that maybe it was off the table. And that's fine, I just wasn't sure.
Nothing's off the table, but there's gonna be a lot of discussion, there's gonna be a lot of
Right.
meetings about it
Yes.
before it goes down that
Yeah.
rabbit trail,
Yeah.
so,
No, I
absolutely.
agree.
So, and I would like to see it happen in summertime, so we have, even though people can't vote, but you have the summer people up here, now, they're gonna see that stuff every year too, they should have a little bit of input on it, they can't vote for it, but they can talk about it, so it's only fair.
All right. I'm on to new business, all right? Elections. Some of this is kind of Joe and I, and whoever wins the third spot for selectmen. Must have at least 2 selectmen there for the entire time that it's open on Tuesday. Saturday, all 3 selectmen should be there, understanding that the new selectmen might not give much of an explanation for stuff that's been worked on prior to them being elected. So, how's your schedule?
I'll be here.
Since there's only 2 of you, I'm
I
assuming.
guess I'll be here, won't I?
Okay, all day?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's another option. You or I could appoint someone pro tem to fill in for us, but.
I'll be there, I'd like to have something happen, but I have to have somebody standing for me until I get back, so.
Nobody's allowed to have a plumbing emergency.
Call somebody else.
And on,
And being independent sometimes is pretty good.
Always got an off button on it.
Exactly.
on Saturday, I would expect all 3 to be there. By then, the new person would be sworn in and would be sitting there.
So when they come back, they'll be sworn at.
Right, yes. Sworn in and then sworn at, yes.
Welcome. Thank you.
If you are willing, hopefully it won't take too long.
Is this this is the home,
In order to help the moderator, Jack Savage, we try to decide which of the, this year, 2 selectmen are gonna talk about the items, okay? Understanding that it's your budget, so I expect you folks will be doing a fair amount of talking as well. But at some point, they will ask for clarification either from the selectman or the fire chief or Rick Washburn, okay? All right. Article 1 is for the officers. That's voted on Tuesday. There's a second one on Tuesday, second article. Are you in favor of separating the current position of town clerk, tax collector established in the year 2001 into 2 separate positions of town clerk and tax collector? The town clerk position will be for a term of 3 years and will be elected by the town ballot, as it is now. The tax collector position will be for a term of 1 year and be appointed by the selectmen. The current town clerk tax collector position will continue until town meeting of 2020. So if the townspeople yes, by state law, we have to stay with the system we have until the next town meeting in 2020. All right? So that's on a Tuesday. It's a yes or no vote. Saturday morning, meet Old Middleton Town Hall, 16th of March, 9 o'clock. First one, Article 3, executive, legal, personnel. You want it?
Yeah.
Article 4, this one's for police, fire, rescue, EMS, emergency management. You want it? I'll take it.
No, I get it.
Okay. Article 5, highway. I can do highway. Article 6, this is for animal control, health agencies, welfare, solid waste. You got it. Article 7, 5,000 for culture and recreation, that's gonna be you.
Uncultured.
Do you want me to do all of the building stuff? Article 8 is highway department, capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
All right, and then I'll do the another, this isn't get confusing. $400,000 from fund balance be set aside. Separate from that, another 10,000 is in there to be set aside through taxation, okay? We've been doing the 10,000 a year for a long while, okay? This thing is somewhere in our future, we have to keep setting aside the money, all right? So I'll do that one as well. 200,000 for road construction and paving, I'll do that. When we say doing it, if we have more questions, we'll be passing it off to Rick or somebody. Okay. Separate from all that is $5,000 for the highway department vehicle capital reserve fund, I'll do that as well.
I'm liking this.
Right. Milfoil, Article 12.
Well, you live on the lake, you go talk.
Yep. I'm pretty familiar with that one. Data and equipment, this is Article 13.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I felt guilty, I took that one.
This is Article 14, reevaluation capital reserve fund, 10,000.
I'll get it. It's the same thing every year anyhow, so.
Now we're getting into the fire department, Article 15, 12,500 for 5 Motorola digital radios.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. There's more for the fire, 8,700 for the thermal imaging camera, yes.
Yeah.
That's Joe. Article 17, 5,000 for the self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
Same for you, Joe. 18, 10,000 for the capital reserve fund for the fire department addition.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
You can leave a pitcher of water next to your chair.
Article 19, natural or man-made disasters.
You.
I'll take that. Who was it? Was it you that talked about it a couple of years ago? That used to read $1,000 to be added to the natural and man-made disasters. Was it you? Somebody says, you can't have.
It was questioned, I remember
You
that.
changed it to the word or, all right? And the last one, see if the town, this is Article, well, next to the last, Article 20. $4,000 for the purpose of researching the feasibility of hiring a town administrator. I'll take that one. And last one, any other business, which,
And you had said that there were no petition articles.
No, special petition more after the door.
okay.
Boy, I do my homework, don't I? Holy crap.
Well,
Finish a lot of them.
that's about the same numbers each year,
Yeah.
within reason.
Yeah.
Well, you're missing a board, really. You're
Yeah.
missing a member, so.
Oh, that's why it's more for each of us.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't like we don't know what's going on with it anyhow, so. A lot of it's just repetitious stuff, so.
Roxanne, you understand all this stuff that we're gonna be doing? It's your budget throughout, so.
Mhm. Yes,
Uh,
it is.
To the credit of the budget committee and the select committee, both proposed budgets are nearly identical. We're off in 1 or 2 items. I think there's one that you recommended, we recommended, and you did not. But otherwise, it's the same, which is,
Yeah.
it is a pleasure to see the two boards, select and budget committee, working with each other. Don't have to agree, but at least work with each other. Good. Okay, did that. Without going into all the details, since it just happened yesterday, you folks wanna talk about the fire? I don't need the specific details, just, I'll tell you my little bit, and tell you, I was proud to see what was going on. I happened to be over here getting sand, driving back towards my house on New Durham Road and saw the smoke. Could not figure out where it was. I went down New Durham, turned right onto Drew, came all the way around back onto Buttermilk Lane, and I could not find a house that was on fire. So I came back down, and then I saw it even getting bigger.
The original call was on Drew Drive. Somebody called it in. They believed there was something in the woods. We didn't really know exactly what it was.
Right?
For all we knew, it could have been someone burning tires or doing something ridiculous.
Right.
It turned out to be at 284 New Durham Road. It was a fully involved garage fire with a semi-trailer, a tractor trailer, semi-involved. Still working on determining the cause, but nobody was hurt, just property loss. That's what it was.
Who helped you out?
That was yesterday or
That was
Sunday?
yesterday. Well,
I
today's
saw
Monday.
inside the fire
Saturday.
truck, I probably go by my house, it was Sunday.
Saturday, oh,
Saturday.
yes.
It was on Saturday.
It was
Yes,
Saturday.
it's actually on the back from Lincoln.
Sorry. Who helped you out besides Middleton?
For other departments?
Yeah.
We had Wakefield, Milton, Farmington. Who else?
New Durham was there.
New Durham showed up. We originally called Alton, but that was an issue with dispatch. They misheard Milton's. They started Alton. But yeah, it did not exceed a first alarm fire.
I offer congratulations to the fire department to be able to work with other small departments like us, and the people come to help.
Absolutely.
Nice to see that.
We have great mutual aid agreements with other departments.
I don't think I speak out of turn when I ask you how many fire hydrants we have in the town of Middleton. Exactly 0. We have to haul the water in from some water source,
Wherever we can get it, yep.
okay? So that's why you need all those tanker trucks in there.
Yes.
All right. Good news, saved the house, right? They were detached, so
Yes.
I did not go up to see the fire. I don't need to be getting in everybody's way. Was it a close call on the house?
From what I understand, it was somewhat close, but not too
Okay.
bad.
All right, good.
It was brought under control rather quickly.
No injuries?
Nope.
Good, all right. So that's it, so yeah, I guess it was sadly, yeah. All right, what else? I don't have anything else.
A little bit, public input.
John?
We had a situation in town the other day. I don't know who called it out. I guess it was a Good Samaritan called and reported that there were a problem with animals being mistreated or not being taken care of correctly. And the animal control officer showed up and the police department showed up.
You showed up too, weren't you?
And I
there?
showed up
Fire
after they
department was
called
there as
me.
well.
Fire department's there,
Yes.
okay.
And the fire department showed up later on for another reason, but we've had this situation before at the same residence. There were 2 dead dogs found there. There were, a house was filled with human excrement, dog feces, whiskey bottles,
Bird feces.
you name it. So the police escorted the gentleman outside. And while he was doing that, he fell down, 3 times? He had no control over himself. He could barely stand. It was not good ground, but he was walking with a cane, but he was still falling. And he admitted that he needed help. So he was taken down to Frisbee to have him evaluated. I got a call back yesterday. Well, in order to get him to go down there, I wrote a letter stating that I was going to have the house condemned. It was that bad. I contacted our town attorney. And first of all, I contacted elderly assistance. I don't know, they have 14 different names in their title, but it's to help people who are in trouble, who are elderly, who have nobody to watch out for them. I contacted them in Rochester, I contacted them in Concord. I got no response from either one of them right away. So he was kept overnight at the hospital, and I wrote a letter stating some of the bare facts, not really going into it in a lot of detail, but stating his condition and why we thought he should be brought there. I got a call back today. I called the town attorney because I wanted to condemn the house. After talking to the attorney, I want to go hide in a hole somewhere because we can't do a damn thing for him. If it is not a problem with the public, then he can live in anything he wants to, anyhow or any way he wants to. And I was told emphatically to leave it alone. If anybody's interested, look at RSA 147:16A, and you will see it. Just to show you some of the phone calls that I made in the last couple of days. There's 9 of them here. To get in touch with people to try and help this gentleman. Well, I was called this afternoon about 3:45, and I was told that he was being sent home. That he's going to take care of himself. They were going to see if they could get the VNA to help him out. Well, if I was in the VNA, I would open that door and I would go the other way as fast as I could. But it's not up to me. It's very, very discouraging to try and help somebody who's in serious trouble, and the law prevents you from doing that. It's not a good situation. So I'm telling you what happened. I'm going to step back completely unless somebody tells me to follow further. These are the things that I did. Teresa was up there. She's the animal control officer. She had a lot to do with it. There was a dog that was still alive out in a pen who hasn't been fed. You couldn't even get to the pen. We had to have the fire department come over and chop holes in the fence so that they could get in. Hadn't been fed, had no water. He said, I used to pour water in a hole in the fence and dump it on the snow, and the dog would get as much as he could. And the food, then he finally admitted, well, he didn't really feed the dog. So 2 of them, they're doing autopsies on 2 of the dead ones.
Yes.
To find out if they died from malnutrition, however you call it, with the dog, or what the reasons were. I believe they can press charges on him if they can come up with the right evidence.
Right now, it's
Go ahead.
limited to what can be said publicly due to the fact that it is an ongoing investigation. I'm trying to do everything I can to rectify the animal situation as much as we can for the town.
Question. How did this all start? You said a Good Samaritan called in who? Who the Good Samaritan called what department?
She called the police department.
Okay, all right, that's all.
Yep.
I don't know how it all initiated.
Yeah.
So you,
She-
police department gets there, you get down there.
She called the police department and said that this person had called someone that she knows who wants to remain completely anonymous through the whole thing, that he needed help with the animals, that he could not get to the dogs, and he had been asking for help. So the officer called me to go down and do a welfare check for the dogs. And then there was a lengthy conversation with him. All of the animals, the only thing I can tell you, anybody right now, is that all of the animals have been removed from the premises.
Okay, my next question is, if I know who you're talking about, and this person already has been told they cannot have any animals on this property because of this former neglect of animals.
That there
Was it
was
a temporary thing?
there was I believe, and I have not been able to determine exactly the time, but I was told that it was a 3-year sentence that was part of his probation, was a 3-year,
Okay.
which has now been passed for a number of years.
And he was allowed to have 1 animal. Well, there were 3 animals there. So actually, he broke whatever agreement that he made there.
Joanne?
Is there some way of determining whether or not he is a danger to himself?
We had a psychiatrist tell us, or tell me this afternoon, he didn't tell me directly, he told the nurse who told me that he's going home this afternoon, there's nothing wrong with him.
They can't get into the HIPAA laws and stuff like that. They can't disclose what his medical condition, good, bad, or indifferent is, so.
No, John, as difficult as it is for all of us to hear about it, I want to thank you for bringing it up, because outside of this meeting, Facebook runs rampant. But now there's 10 or 12 of us that have enough of the correct information to stop some of the rumors that I'm sure are flying around town about, well, why doesn't the town do anything? Well, there's your reason.
So is
Thank
there,
you.
so is
We've
there gonna
spent-
be a game plan going forward to watch this guy to, for more animals, or what?
At this point, I am investigating it. I am gonna do what I can. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to make sure that I don't say too much publicly until I, you know what I mean? It's not that we're trying to hide anything, we're just trying to make sure that we're doing everything correctly, that we've crossed our Ts and dotted our Is to make sure that if in fact anything's pursued, that it sticks, so that we do have control of any future ownership.
So the question, and I'll throw it out there, is were all three of these dogs registered in the town?
Yes, they were.
Two of them were.
So that, I mean, and I'm not saying, but that should have maybe been marked to say you shouldn't have two dogs, so, and I'm not saying anything, I'm just putting it out there.
The only discrepancy is that when he was, and I don't know that he was only supposed to have limited amount of dogs, that's something I'm trying to research just to verify, because there's a lot of he said, she said things, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
no,
that are
and I
involved
agree, yeah.
honestly weren't involved prior.
No, I.
So, you know, without saying the wrong thing or what, but I am checking into all that just so that if there was a loophole somewhere,
Yeah.
then at least we can try to clarify that and see how that exactly happened.
So, I would like to think that if he saw a psychiatrist and they released him on his own, then he has passed, that he is cognizant, he can make decisions, he's well, that sort of thing. So, I think the future allows us to do investigation and follow up like that, to possibly go down a different avenue if needed, so.
Well, I'm looking for two things to come out of this. I don't want to see him have any more animals, period. He doesn't deserve them. Not the way he's treated what he's had. And the second thing is, he's going to be living there by himself with nobody to care for him. He's going to fall down and nobody's going to know it. And this, I brought this up to the people at the hospital. I told this to the people in Concord. I told this to people in Rochester. You take responsibility if something happens to him, because we can't go on the property anymore. We're told to stay away from there. We can't do anything.
They could do a welfare check though, couldn't, the police could do a welfare check?
It's not a welfare situation.
No, if somebody called in though and said, yes, the police can go there and do a welfare
So
check.
that's what I'm just saying, so.
A
Right, I
welfare
mean,
check
other
is
than that-
not welfare, it's just
Right.
for the well-being.
Right.
No, there's nothing the welfare can do either,
No, but I
especially
mean,
if he
I
wants
guess,
to
I guess
live like that.
a well-being check, I
Right.
guess.
The word doesn't
Yeah, if
mean
somebody
what it
calls
means
in, I
when you
haven't
say
seen footprints in
welfare.
there in a while, yeah.
Whereas
they
mail
can-
is,
It should be
the
called
mail is,
a well-being check. or
right,
something.
something, sorry, that's what I meant, well, what, that's what I,
It is called welfare.
It is,
yeah.
yeah.
okay, that's what I meant.
If you haven't seen your neighbor come out of the house in 3 days, after seeing him every day for 2 years, you can call the police and ask for a welfare
Yeah,
check
right,
on their
okay.
well-being to see if there are.
In this case, if they didn't see this person for 2 years, they were thankful.
Right.
And that's not a good thing to say about anybody.
No.
Yeah.
I know, but regardless of
But-
how people live and stuff like that, they are our neighbors like that, we still have to do things to, you know, unfortunately.
I've known this person for 50 years, and I don't wanna see anybody die on their own after falling down.
Yeah.
But that's
I
the
think
way
it's
it
a
is.
perfect job for the part-time fire department.
Yeah.
Well, I can say that house is probably the worst I've ever seen in my 10 years, and it is absolutely a hazard to us and to anybody that goes in there or on that property. It's a problem. But
Is the structure unsafe? No, really think.
Who
about
knows? You
floors.
can't see the
Yeah, we-
structure.
You can't,
I know you can't, but it's just, you know, it's just basically my own.
I don't want to say yes or no, but I can say going in there is absolutely a hazard.
I'd
After
have
going
to-
in there the last time when that happened last week, I
we
don't want to go in there
probably
again.
should, we should probably buy the boots and the gowns and I really wouldn't go in there without that
Yeah.
stuff.
I threw away my clothes when I left.
We should have a box of that just for that, that location.
I'm not
No
even
kidding.
joking. I threw away my clothes when I
Joanne?
got back.
No relatives or family that anybody's aware of,
No?
No,
and no prior military?
no,
No.
no.
I was told by Rochester that a faraway, distant cousin is the reason why he's being let out. And my only thoughts on that was that the gentleman has some money.
Because he was willing to go into a assisted
Assisted
living
care.
until his family member.
He was in the
convinced him
beginning, but now he's not.
His family member.
He's changed
convinced
his
him.
mind. But there's not gonna be a relative coming living with him, I can tell you that.
But I would think, John, if the VNA was going in there, that there's some type of avenue that they would follow to say, this guy cannot be living on his own. I only say this because how we acquired an animal several years ago was from a woman up in Wakefield who was in that same type of situation, could not take care of her animals and was not cognizant. And the town of Wakefield took the animals and posted on their thing, and we ended up with one of the dogs, but the person does not.
You can
live
take
on
the
their own.
animals, but you can't touch him.
Well, I'm not saying, as a town, we can't touch them, but as some other organization, I think like, I don't know what it is.
But he's all with it.
Well,
I think
Well,
at this point, there's not much we can do, our hands are tied as a town, okay? I think the only thing we can really do is like continue to investigate, but you need to investigate, okay, both, the whole part of it. But if VNA does go in there, they do have, I think, powers,
I think so, they have
To-
avenues.
right, they have different ways of being able to say, this guy cannot be by his own. And that will set up another whole series of events that, you know, above and beyond what we can do.
Right.
But they have to get in there first to see the living conditions and all that like that, to make that decision. Or
According
start
to
that.
according to the hospital and to the elderly council in Rochester, he has the right to keep anybody and everybody out of there.
King of his own domain.
You can't touch him. That's his domain.
New Hampshire live for your.
He wants to live the way he's living, so be it.
So be it.
Before we adjourn, I do have one other topic, please. Meet the candidates night. Is,
March sixth,
so it's next
Wednesday,
Wednesday
6:30.
Already?
at the Old Town Hall.
Yep.
Is that for just town elections or does it include school elections?
No, I included the school as well.
Okay, so, in that Joe is running for office, I will be running at least the town section and possibly school as well.
At the 6:30?
Chance for people to say who they are and why they're running and answer questions there. Probably some refreshments or,
You should've got a letter. Did you get a letter?
I haven't checked my mail today.
You should've got a letter.
okay, that's a week from this Wednesday, 6:30 at the Old Town Hall. Okay. And is there any need to contact the school and see if they wish to do something separate or no? I would say just put it all together one
Yeah.
night. Okay.
They've never done one before, so I just.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the good of Middleton? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn at 7:24.
I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow, that's
Nice.
not short.